All right, good morning, good evening, everyone. Again, I'm Mr. Coleman, and today our lesson will be about the Persian Gulf and Iraq. Our learning objective for today I will learn about the events that occurred in the Kuwait and Iraq War so I can determine what led to the war in 1990 and 2003. I know I have it when I can use this knowledge to discuss the issues that cause separation between the countries and openly talk about them with family, friends, and classmates. All right, so let's take a look at this map that's on the screen right now. The conflict of the Persian Gulf it began in the city of Kuwait. So Kuwait is a country located in the Middle East on the Northeast Arabian Peninsula. It borders the Persian Gulf, Iraq, Saudi Arabia. The flat, sandy Arabian desert covers most of Kuwait. The government system is a constitutional emirate. The chief of state is the Emir Sheikh, and the head of the government is the prime minister. Kuwait has a mixed economic system, which includes a variety of private freedom combined with centralized economic planning and government regulation. Kuwait is a member of the League of Arab States, which is the Arab League, and the Gulf Cooperation Council, which is GCC. All right, so in 1920, the country of Kuwait was created. As a result, Iraq lost its access to the Persian Gulf. Saddam Hussein, which was Iraq's dictator, wanted to get his access back because he wanted to control all the oil that was in the Middle East. So he felt that the oil fields belonged to Iraq. Iraqi forces invaded Kuwait in August of 1990. In order to survive the attack, the small country of Kuwait knew it would need allies, which is, we all know that is pretty much we need help. So the picture on the left, you see, this is Saddam Hussein, and this is the vehicles they used to invade Kuwait. The U.S., concerned about this invasion, as a lot of countries all came from Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. So in January 1991, the United States and a group of other countries started Operation Desert Storm, which was a military mission to recapture Kuwait. The coalition employed missile attacks and used ground forces to quickly drive Iraqi forces out of Kuwait in just 6 weeks. So during this time, there were a total of 37 nations, including the United States, Britain, Egypt, France, and Saudi Arabia that assisted during this time. But of those nations that helped, only 28 of those sent troops to assist in the fight. So if you take a look at the map, right, you see that there's a lot of areas that is covered in blue and only one area that is covered in orange. So all the areas that is in blue are the countries that sent their troops to help during the war. That one country that is orange, of course, is Iraq. So those countries that were involved or that were allies to Kuwait that helped were, of course, the United States. You had Afghanistan, Argentina, Australia, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Belgium, Canada, Czechoslovakia, Denmark, Egypt, France, Germany, Greece, Honduras, Hungary, Italy, Morocco, Netherlands, New Zealand, Niger, Norway, Oman, Pakistan, Philippines, Poland, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Senegal, South Korea, Spain, Sweden, Syria, the United Arab Emirates, the United Kingdom, Germany, and you had Japan as well. So Kuwait had a lot of help during this war. So in most wars, there are some countries that really get no help depending on the relationship they have with their allies, but also relationship they have with the UN. All right, so this picture is a U.S. Nighthawk, which is one of the key players in Desert Storm. So this plane was pretty much what the United States used most to drop bombs. So this was their war fighting machine. All right, so by February 1991, the Iraq government agreed to a truce and withdrew from Kuwait. Iraq left, but not before Saddam Hussein had his soldiers set nearly 1,000 oil fields on fire, causing immense environmental damage. Both Iraq and Kuwait were badly damaged during the war. So, although the war was a decisive military victory for the coalition, Kuwait and Iraq suffered enormous property damage, and Saddam Hussein was not removed from power. So, in fact, Hussein was free to turn his attention to suppressing internal Shia and Kurd revolts, which the US led coalition did not support. So, in part because of concerns over the possible breakup of Iraq if the revolts were successful. Coalition peace terms were agreed to by Iraq, but every effort was made by the Iraqis to frustrate implementation of the terms, particularly the UN weapons inspection. And here you see some pictures of the oil fields that were set on fire by Saddam Hussein. And again, because of defeat, Saddam Hussein was not happy about the results. So he ordered his troops to burn every oil field that he can find to decrease the revenue, not only for Kuwait, but for those countries that were affiliated with them as well. So because of this and the refusal to destroy all his nuclear weapons, it led to more issues that created another battle somewhere around 10 years later called the Iraq War. All right, so this picture is a graph of one of the main roads that go to, well, it is the main road that goes from Kuwait to Iraq. And as you see a lot of military vehicles are destroyed on side of the highway. And me personally, I've been, most of you know, I served in the military and I fought in the Iraq War, which we will talk about, which we are talking about right now. Sorry about that. So I fought in this war and I've drove down this road before. And this is one of the most dangerous roads I've ever been on in my life. So this road, which as you can see, the further it gets this way, the road expands. So during my time in the military, we would drive from Kuwait to Iraq to not only transport our vehicles, but transport food, so the soldiers as well. So because of there's so much damaged vehicles or so much destruction on side the road, we especially at nighttime, we rarely had time to see, the enemies. We couldn't see the bombs on side the road. So this would be an easy way for them to try to attack us. But of course, the U.S. is the strongest military across the world, so they did not succeed in their attempts. I mean, we had plenty of casualties during this time, but the U.S. Pretty much stood tall during these times. All right, so after the UN inspection team left, many Americans believed that Hussein was hiding weapons of mass destruction, WMDs, throughout the country. So as well as providing aid to members of Al Qaeda. Now, most of you, we know who Al Qaeda are because at the beginning of the year, we had a video about the events that happened in 9/11, and we explained that, of course, Al Qaeda is the bad guys. So in 2003, the United States, Great Britain, Australia, and other countries launched a military invasion of Iraq called Operation Iraqi Freedom. The United States and most of their countries, including Estonia, Britain, and Canada, launched a search throughout Iraq to locate Saddam Hussein. Though it was one of the most deadliest battles in quite some time, the countries involved refused to stop until the mission was accomplished. It was important to capture the individual that not only broken several laws within the United Nations, but the individual that treated his own people unfairly. So looking at this this slide, we see soldiers launching grenades, launching rocket launchers, soldiers that are on patrol going into houses or different places of business. These soldiers were tasked to do only one job: find Saddam Hussein. So there were battles day and night. Most of you have heard of the Battle of Fallujah, the Battle of Mosul. The Battle of Fallujah, I personally was a part of that battle because I was involved in the invasion of Iraq in 2003 when the task was put out that we needed to find Saddam Hussein. What were the results of looking for Saddam Hussein? Saddam Hussein's government collapsed quickly, and the military operation was over in less than 2 months. So there were no weapons of mass destruction found. In December 2003, Saddam Hussein was captured and tried and sentenced to death. He was executed in 2006. And also, when Saddam Hussein was found, he was hiding in a hole, and he was armed with a pistol, AK-47, and he had $750,000 in cash. That's U.S. cash. And also, when he was captured, he was actually by himself, which was pretty surprising for a man with so much power that had so many soldiers that rallied around him. All right, so on this slide, we see some pictures of people voting once Saddam Hussein was, of course, captured. As you can see, these are pictures from 2005, so he was not executed at the time. So, but the country was still in so much turmoil and so many things going on in their lives. They felt that it was necessary to establish a government. So they established elections that was really pretty much controlled by the United States, but the United States could not be available for every place that they were having elections. So the terrorists knew that we were not big enough to control the whole country, or we did not have enough troops to control the whole country. So they will attack these elections. So as you can see this picture here, the woman is standing there with a gun pointed to her head behind her. So during these elections, the terrorists or the Taliban they would pretty much threaten people, threaten to kill them if they don't vote for one of their leaders. And what I mean by their leaders is the Taliban also had bad guys that were in the elections as well. So they really threatened people to not only vote for their people so they can establish their own government and not have set leadership or set guidance that would make the country better. So what do we know about Iraq today? It has been very, very difficult in rebuilding the country that has been torn apart since the war. Most Iraqi citizens don't believe that they need a government. So every time elections were held since the death of Saddam or before he was killed, those individuals that were running for office would either come up missing or be assassinated by the Taliban or members of Al-Qaeda. So the U.S. forces, they continued to provide assistance to Iraq until they felt that the country could maintain some kind of normalcy. So the soldiers would stay there until Iraq felt that they can run their own country. So in early 2011, Iraq finally felt that they had control over it. So their country, everything was running smooth. They felt that, businesses are starting to be normal again. So the U.S. withdrew their troops. This was during the Obama presidency, but today some troops still remain. So here we are in 2021, and we still have soldiers there, or we have some form of government there still assisting. So today it is unfortunate that Iraq is still going through problems. The country rather, just cannot find a normal everyday life. So you have, we will all see the news, you see ISIS, you see other forms of bad guys that still try to control the country. So, and then you also have Sunni and Shia, which are the Muslims that are within those countries. They are still fighting one another for power over the country. So today we talked about the events that occurred in Kuwait and Iraq, which was the Persian Gulf and Operation Iraqi Freedom. So we could determine what led to the war in 1990 and 2003. We know we have it because we can use this knowledge to discuss the issues that cause separation between the countries. Again, so this today we talked about the events that led, the events that went on during 1990 and 2003, and we know that it was all because of oil. And Saddam Hussein did not want to. He did not want the country of Kuwait to be in existence because he could not control the oil because of their own government. So tomorrow, just be ready, or Monday, I'm sorry, be ready for. We will talk about what led to the Operation Enduring Freedom, which was the Afghanistan War. At this time, turn your attention to your teacher as we will complete the discussion and complete the assignment for today. Have a great day, everyone, and I hope you got something out of the video.